Hello, welcome. So as everybody is joining us, I'm going to do a quick intro of who you are looking at today on the screen. But I would like for you to go to the chat bar and just type in where you're calling from. That way we know the names of the participants that we have here with us and where you are from. But who you are looking at is Ron Howard, the Ron Howard, the author, Ron Howard, and the team leader and senior coach, Ron Howard. We're excited to have him here with us.
And
hi, Ron.
Hey, Tammie. And you're also looking at Tammie. Your hair looks great today.
Well, thank you. I am honoring my heritage today. So I am doing Texas hair at the moment. So it's been a good hair day. It's not raining outside, so I was able to tease it up a bit today and get it fluffy.
Tammie is a master coach. She's a broker owner, team leader, awesome team, Hip Realty. So we can't wait to dig in and hear a lot about how everything's going for you.
Thank you. And thanks for that intro. That's good. I've been riding high since receiving that promotion to master coach at this last coach training. And I have not been humble about it at all.
Why should you?
I walk into a room, master coach.
Master coach.
All right, so we have here Kelly Wright from Chicago, Illinois, Randy from Salt Lake City. Hey, Randy, good to see you, or not see you, good to see your name. Mark Sullivan from Columbus, Ohio. For those of you that are joining us now, go ahead and go into the chat bar. It's very important you know where the chat is at. And also, I'm going to tell you a little tip. Down at the bottom of the chat bar, you're going to see a little toggle that says all participants. You can toggle back and forth between that. If you do a comment to all participants, that's Ron and I, or all panelists, sorry, all panelists. So Ron and I will see that. That's going to be private to Ron or I. If you toggle to all panelists and attendees, then it's a public comment out to the masses and the world beyond. So just decide which people you want to communicate with. Jill Collins from Gulf Shores, Alabama. Hello, Jill. We are neighbors. Tanya Smith and Tanya from Long Island, New York. We have Brandy from Watford. Ray Otten. Hey, we know Ray. Ray is a good friend of both of ours.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff Withers from Denton, Texas. Jeff, I'm in Frisco. We should connect.
You guys are neighbors.
We really are neighbors. So Denton County, that's the county I'm in. Mario Bravo from Arizona. Do you see anybody you know on here, John? Jeff. No, it's Jeff Withers. Woohoo! Yes. Yvonne from Seattle. Ron, anyone you see?
No, we see Annapolis, Maryland. Joseph, what is this? Joseph Lawman. Don't know him, but that's like 20 minutes from Baltimore. So we should connect.
Yes, you should.
We'll all connect. You can show us how to do Texas big hair.
I can show you that. I'll bring my big can of red, big and sexy hairspray. That's actually the name of it, and my teasing comb. And nice. I'll have fun with that. I could probably work on Flynn's hair.
Yeah.
He has plenty.
Yeah, he came out with a big coiffed hairdo.
Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. Hello, Dawn. It's good to see you. Look at that hair. Okay, pull it back up. You got to pull it back up because we're going to talk a little bit about Flynn today.
There's baby Flynn. He's 9 months next week. So yeah, it was our little COVID project.
I love it. I could do a real good mohawk or a little curl right there at the top.
Yeah.
That would look good. He is a beauty.
You want to get started or give it a few more minutes?
Let's go ahead and jump in. So everybody is joining us today to learn about building a dynamic team that dominates, or learning more about teams that dominate. And in not so much humility, Ron and I do have two teams that dominate. And they dominate a little bit differently, but they dominate in their own right. And so we're going to be talking about that specifically. One thing that unites Ron and I, so I'm just going to give a little why into what we're talking about today. And Ron, jump in at any time.
Sure.
this. So what unites, or what is a common thread between Ron and I, especially over this last year, is we had two significant life changes, both of us experience. And it was significant for you, Ron. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a little baby. We found out we got pregnant last January, and September had a baby, during COVID, during a shutdown. We coach people. So, that's the kind of thing that will put your bit, will shut you down in business, right? My business, last year I sold 250 houses. This year I'll do 330. While having a baby, working, I used to work 70 to 80 hours a week. I work 40 hours a week, not in the weekends now. And we'll get into like how we set our teams up so that they operate and we can live a life. And I can raise a newborn baby, which is a lot of work. And I'm still, we're growing and we're profitable, and I don't have to be there for every freaking decision.
I love it. I love it. And that takes a lot out of your day, being a father.
And I hate it. Does. And I hate to be sour grapes, but you had a big event and it wasn't positive like having a baby, but you went through a divorce, and that could cripple your business as well, except what's happening in your business.
My business is growing. My business is booming, and I have to give the credit to that to, I don't want to say three people, but three different entities. One is Workman Success. My coach, Paul Sussom with Workman Success, guided me a lot of the way and kept me focused on what I needed to stay focused on. The systems within Workman Success, my team, and myself.
Right.
And it rocked not only me and my core. It shook up the entire world that I know. It shook up the family. It shook up our community. It shook up my church sphere. It shook up a lot. And
let's pivot. So business wise, how up are you from last year? So you have all of this debilitating stuff. Like both of us had these huge events that would freeze a lot of people, put you on that roller coaster where you got to really down and until you can get back to it. And a newborn and a divorce, it takes all your time, and you got all kinds of shenanigans going on between parties. Like how much higher is your business this year? How much better? Like you bought, your team has cars now, you're growing. Like it doesn't match up. It's because the systems and the processes and the way that we're coached.
Yeah, so business is just right now, 20% up. And as of 2 weeks ago, so one thing that was interesting in going through this divorce, anytime you have a business and you go through a divorce, there is a valuation that comes in, and a number has to be put on the business. So we went through a spending freeze and we went through a hiring freeze. So our strategic plan for the year, because the divorce was final about 3 weeks ago, and we couldn't do our events. We couldn't do any hiring as more leads and more leads and more leads were coming in. I am amazed that we are as ahead as we are when we lost, or we didn't lose it, when half of our planning that would happen in a normal year was put on hold because we just could not spend the money on it. And it's the team. It was the people for us that I hired and put in place and prepared through guidance from Workman that they're going to have to step up. And every one of them did. They flexed muscles they didn't even know they had.
That's awesome. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, so what about you? I mean, similar is in a baby coming and the divorce coming, because we knew this divorce was coming. There you have a time to prepare for this. Similar to a wedding or a graduation, you have a time to prepare. What did you do, and how did the systems and the coaching of Workman Success help you prepare for this life change and allow you to have the time off? What did you do?
you were an individual agent and then got into coaching and then coached you to build this fantastic team. I was a little different. I had a team since 2005, super driven. I would just make up things as I go along. And I got to 30 agents, 155 million in sales, 550 houses, and the wheels were coming off, right? Like, cause all the gaps of things I didn't really know. And then just kind of made up or found something off YouTube. It just didn't scale. So, I think we started into coaching around the same time. I think it was like 2018, late 2017. Deconstructed my team, went from 30 agents to 10, rebuilt it. I have management strategies. I do business planning with team members. I have a hiring process, core values. I created a client rewards program. I have a lead tracking system. I have an agent development program. We have accountability commitments and non-negotiables for the team members. We daily huddle, we role play. We do all these things we never did before. But I always still work like 70 to 80 hours a week. I'm a worker, and then when the baby's getting close to coming, my team is so different now. I don't have to be there. I don't have to, I could go away for weeks and it would still operate. Everything. I have the right operations people, transaction coordinators, listing managers in place, that everything runs. And that's what I realized, that I could work 40 hours a week and not work on the weekends and do more business. And we're set up where it's profitable like it should be, right? Like, instead of like most teams where they look at, what they're generating is really what they're making. And then the whole team side is like a break even, if not losing money, because they're giving away commissions because they think that's fair, but they don't realize, because they never really analyze it, that they're not really making money, So it was pretty cool. That's the one thing where I realized that everything, all the hard work I'd put in, actually, if I want to work 40 hours a week, that's like I do since he was born. For 9 months, I've been working 40 hours a week and not in the weekends. And we're doing, like I said, we're going from 250 to, we're on track to do 330. And working half the time I used to work. So that's all my coach, Sarah, and Workman, and rebuilding our team. And I'm on the right track now. The profitability and the volume comes there. Everybody thinks you're this big team and you're great, but a lot of these big teams don't make any money. So.
Right. Yeah. I love this story, because we're a little bit at two different phases of life. I have 2 children. Well, 3 of my 4 are out of the house and 2 of my 4 are married. I have one with the son, married with a son. So I have a grandson. And having just gone through a divorce, and I don't want to, look back in time, but I love hearing from you, who is starting out with your son, that you are putting in place the systems and the processes that will allow you to have the resources and the time to be there, to be present, not just with your son, but with your wife as well. And that's very commendable. Very.
Well, thank you. I get up at 4:30 every morning, and whenever the baby gets up, I'm with the baby until 8, until we're fortunate enough to have a nanny. So I get morning, and then I come home at 5 and I take the baby from 5 till bath time. And, every single day. I think I missed one day in the evening, but so let's talk about you for a little bit. Let's talk about like what the core sort of concepts are in your business that you really, one of the things I'm really impressed about, and I think people should hear about, like, we all daily huddle, right? Like, I went from doing maybe 3 meetings a year to I daily huddle Monday through Friday. And at first it sounded kind of like, do we really need to meet every day for, 15, 20 minutes? And then until you see the effect of it, but you're the only person I know that has a whole year-long schedule of daily huddles. Tell us about that.
I do. That was something that and I'm not going to go too personal in discussing the marriage and the divorce, but every year in September and October, as a team, we gather together and we do our strategic plan for the next year. And I knew at that time that this significant life change is right around the corner, and it's going to be happening. And it's something that we had discussed for a couple of years. But I knew now it's really going to happen. So in discussion with myself, in discussion with my coach, I had to put a plan in place. I had to put almost this net, a safety net, because I knew in preparing for it, even though I felt like I got this, it wasn't something that just swept a rug out from under my feet in a shock that we're about to go through a divorce. I knew there's going to be times where I'm just going to mentally be out of the game and I'm just going to tap out. And in preparing for that and in using the strategic plan with Workman and the huddle setup and the agile and the AMP scorecard and the SWOT analysis, combining all of them together, we outlined a huddle, and we huddle 5 days a week for 15 minutes every morning at 9 o'clock. And we took everybody's strategic plan and we broke it down into daily tasks. So if you wanted to hit a certain number of closings, and that certain number of closings required you to do 2,000 phone calls throughout the year, then we broke that down to which days are you going to be doing those phone calls and what type of phone calls they are and what time of day are you going to be doing it. And all of that went into the huddle. And it took a bit of time, not as much as you would think it would take, but our huddle is already planned. So as we were approaching the end of the year of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, and things were getting really emotional in the divorce and mediation was heating up, I tapped out. I'll be honest, I tapped out. And I didn't even feel bad about it because I had a team of warriors that were stepping up, and I was so grateful for each of them. And not just them, but the guidance from the very beginning of coaching. I've been coaching 3 years by that time, to hire the right people, to surround myself with the right people. And the team stepped up. And
Okay.
part of that is I didn't run huddles.
Right.
I have a team member that runs huddles, and they know their plan. So as my one-to-ones was not as consistent as my consistency in attending team meetings and attending those huddles, as I tapped out, I had permission from my team and preparation leading up to that. And that, honestly, I would not have known how to prepare for that life change and still have an income coming in. Because anytime a woman goes through a divorce, or a man, I'm going to say a man goes through a divorce, and you're coming from a 2-income household down to a 1-income household, your income takes on a higher significance than it ever did before.
Right.
And
Now,
that had to be protected.
So if I, like, when I got off the, the volume track and getting all the awards for being top producer of this, top producer of that, except for profit, if I stayed on that track and then I went through a divorce, like, it would just be a freaking mess. I couldn't leave my business more than for a couple of days because I was so intertwined. I couldn't afford the right people because I didn't understand the real value that I was supposed to provide my team. So all the things that you've done, like when you were building your team, there's a lot of teams out there that just kind of make it up, and they think, oh, it's like a referral fee to have somebody in your team, but they don't understand, like, you got to be able to provide listing management and transaction services and leads and a whole bunch of other things to really build a good value proposition. So, it's funny because we're in the same place, but I took the long way to get there, and you got good coaching from the very beginning. And I mean, when you talk about it, like it's I freak people out with my time blocking. You freak me out when you talk about, like, having every single phone call down to the day. Like, right, I'll time block hour, and I make my team members time block hours, but that's such a granular analysis, and that's through coaching and having good systems. But you talk about it like it's normal. People like that, that freaks me out a little bit, because that's just a whole nother level of analysis, so that you get that day. And that's really what you get down to, time blocking a day, where you know exactly what you got to do every day to hit that week and that month and that quarter. And you're doing it like it's nothing. Got a divorce going on, which is major, and your business is up. So that's awesome.
I'm going to say one thing that assisted me is in the clarity of really the power of the prospecting hour. So in creating a team and in building a team, one thing that my coach and I went back and studied was, what is the power of a prospect? And for example, Tammie Slay, how much money does Tammie Slay make and generate in 1 hour? When Tammie Slay sits down a prospect, what does she generate? This is it's an analytical, mathematical problem that you track your data over the entire year. And it's all done through the Workman Success Workbench app, where we track our daily activities and we track our task that we're doing. And you bring all these formulas together and you study the story at the end of the year to determine, why did Tammie Slay get to where she's at individually?
What is it? 5,000 an hour?
$7,000 an hour.
$7,000 an hour. So if you
$7,000 an hour.
And then a compound effect of that across time is you just keep on killing it.
Well, you know what? When we did it and we tracked it, we found that I did over 90 hours. I think it was 900. It was something around there, 90 or 900. I don't remember. No, I think it was 96. 96 hours of drive time.
Yeah.
That I spent. And instead of driving, so I'm going to pull it up on my app. Now I'm thinking it's 9:17. I wasn't prepared to talk.
No worries.
But it was.
So you kill it. You kill it prospecting, and you're making a lot of money. But let me shift gears real quick for you.
Okay.
So before I got coached, we were known for doing big events. We did 17 events a year, and we just invited our whole sphere of influence. And then one of the first things that Workman taught me to also teach our team is a top 50, right? And so we had this sort of shotgun approach, and so our top 50 is the best of your SOI. They know you, they like you, they trust you. They'll run across the room. They say, hey, you got to call Tammie. How many deals did you do off your top 50 last year?
70. My personal top 50, 76.
76 deals. So Tammie stays in touch with 50 people once a month. It's very intentional, having relationships with people that are reoccurring clients or just continually refer you. And she got 76 deals. Now, for a lot of people, that's all they need for their whole year, right? And there are people that if you manage your top 50, that's just a crazy big number.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's people that would be happy with a quarter of that for the entire year. There's people that would be over the moon with that. We shifted. We don't do that well, but we do pretty good with our top 50, and we created an MVP program. And so all of our team members invite their top 50 into the MVP program. And then we set up events, and then the team members can just easily have their people in there to get the invites. And it's just that it ends up being like one of the biggest columns of your whole business. Oh yeah, it's a big column. I have a belief that if your friends and your family members do not trust you with their own business, why should strangers trust you with their business?
Right.
So it's almost a responsibility that we all have to instill trust within our own family and our own friends. Because now think about this from a new agent perspective. As you're recruiting new agents, and they're about to go out there and they're about to do open house leads or sync leads or realtor.com leads or Zillow leads. They lack confidence. That's the number one thing. They lack confidence in scripts. They lack confidence in what to say. They lack confidence in, are they going to show it right?
Right.
But when that new agent sees that at the end of the year, 20 people in their family and friends used them and chose them, it's confident boosting. So once you have the confidence to work with your own sphere, the sky's the limit on everything else.
Yeah, and then you got the flip side. You got agents that will call 100 strangers all day, but they won't call their top 50 because they're just nervous that they're going to offend people that they know. And when you're calling them and talking about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, people want to talk to you. And you're not talking about real estate. You're just being connected and top of mind. And it's interesting how people get to the same place different ways. But I'll tell you, doing business after you've already doing business with people you have trust established is a lot easier than working through that with leads. And I'm amazed at people that don't realize that and don't really work the top 50 like you do.
I know. Don says Ford, it's the best. It is the best. We agree. We
Yep.
agree, Don. So I'm going to go back to your team, Ron. I wanted to explain to the people that are watching this, because you are attending a Workman Success webinar, and Ron and I are both coaching clients with Workman Success. Yes, we are coaches, but we're both still clients. We've been coaching now over 3 years, almost hitting our 4-year mark.
Mm-hmm.
And as amazing as businesses, we're still coaching clients. We both still have coaches in this business for us. Backing up a couple of years for you, because you did a team, whereas I didn't. I had never had a team. I hired Workman to teach me how to do that. You did it before.
Right.
And then with your coach, deconstructing everything. I want to go back to that deconstruction, because then you had to restart a team from the ground up. What was the difference in your recruiting and your hiring? How did you select the people from before? How were you selecting them, and what changed you selecting them now? Because you have a more dynamic, quality, and productive team right now.
Totally. Well, first I had to understand I had to develop a value proposition, right? I had to understand that deeply, and then figure out how to build it, develop it, present it so people understood it, and then actually be able to provide the true value that a well-run team gives. And then finding people that want to bring home more money. Some people want a high split, but then you got people that want to bring home more money, right? So you can show people like, hey, I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to take them off your plate. You work with the clients. We'll take care of the front end, the back end, and you can work with people, show houses, do contracts, and do 30 to 50 transactions a year. And I look back at some people that we lost, and they're still doing the same amount of business. And then meanwhile, we created an agent development program, and we teach them the right ways, the right habits right out of the gate, and they're killing it. So I have agents that I have an agent right now. She's in her second month. She's got 4 deals under contract. She's just doing everything. We tell her, we say, look, make $1 million our way, and then you can do it your way. And she is doing everything. She's got 4 deals. She's just in her 3rd month. She's got 4 deals under contract, and she's like textbook perfect. And that's what she said. You tell me what to do, I'll do it. And she's doing it, and that's what I love. So now, it's pretty funny, because there's some pretty prominent coaches out there that make fun of DISC assessments. They're like, it can't figure out drive, and it's like, no shit, it's not supposed to figure out drive. It's supposed to help you make sure that you're bringing the right personality into the right role, right? And so you'll see examples like, we never use DISC, and great, because you're 1 out of 100 that got lucky and hired like the perfect person that just worked out. But there's 99 people that hired the wrong person, and their team never got off the ground because it was just the wrong personality type, right? So DISC is like 15% of the whole equation, but it's helpful. I just got to laugh when people make fun of it. Like, we don't use DISC. You're like, I use it. I'll always use it. And it's not going to make the decision for me, but it's going to really help me understand like what I got to work with. Is this person a high, are they team oriented? Or are they not team oriented? So we have a 2-step interview process. We have built our core values. I mean, heck, so Tammie, when she created her core values, she went so deep into it that it renamed her brokerage. So tell us about that. I mean, but we're very similar in that our culture and our core values has a life of its own, and you either are in alignment with it or you're not. And there's no opportunity hires, and everybody, it's just a whole different thing than when I had 30 people and this side hated this side and they would fight and squabble. Now it's all just
It's harmony, right? It
Yeah.
is. When you have the right people in place and you have the right team, it's just harmonious, and everything just runs, and it's beautiful, and you love being with these people. So yes, I did. When I first started coaching, I had a different name for the company at the time. And it was a company. I'd been with this boutique brokerage for 13 years, and the broker moved out of state, and I bought that company. Didn't have a team and really had no clue what I was doing running a brokerage. And that's when, because I was drowning, that's when I hired Workman, was to teach me how to run a business. I didn't really need someone to teach me how to do sales, but I needed someone to teach me how to teach other people how to do sales. I was good. So were you. We were good in the business. I'm no longer in production now. My team does all the production. But we did an exercise on core values, and I wrote a list of core values, and I had to read it every day for 30 days. And I was on the highway one day sitting in traffic, and I was mentally going through the list because I had it memorized. And the first word on my list was honor. The second word on my list was integrity. Third word on my list was perseverance. And the fourth word on my list was happening. And I put in parentheses, hip. And then it went to tenacity and wisdom after that. And apologies. My watch is apologizing to me. But I was sitting in traffic and I was thinking, I want to rename this company, not knowing what the name's going to be, but the acronyms, as I was mentally going through it: honor, integrity, and perseverance. And HIP Realty was born from that.
Yeah, awesome.
And that was within 6 weeks of coaching. I started coaching in September. January 1st, we launched with our culture, our logo, everything, our messaging, our marketing, all of it. So in 3 months, we went from coaching as one company to redoing everything. But I didn't have a team. It was just me, and ended up recruiting. Last year, we had almost 900 agents apply to be on the team, running the Wise Hire ads, running them the Workman way and the Workman style. 900 agents apply.
How many do you bring on?
3.
What's that percent? I can't, I'm not even good at math like that.
Less than 1.
Yeah.
3 stood out because I was taught from the beginning. And I think that's where you had a different experience and you were deconstructing. Whereas when I started the team, I was taught the Workman way from the very beginning. So I didn't have to waste all that time and money investing in agents that were not going to produce or really didn't want to even be working.
So I would agree, like, and you can talk about it if you have the answer, because I certainly don't drive, right? Like that is a tough thing to figure out. A DISC assessment does not figure out drive, a behavioral assessment. So like, how do you figure that out? How do you figure out, like, I know people talk about pain, gain, and competition as being like the driving forces in people's lives. Like, how do you figure out what somebody's really going to want to do well?
A couple of ways. One is in the interview. So we have an interview process that's pretty extensive, and it goes from applying to, I have a hiring manager. She calls them and does an initial phone call with them. And not everybody attends that phone call. So if they keep putting that off, there's no real motivation or desire to be on the team. So they self-eliminate. After the phone call interview, if she determines that they're of our culture, then she sets them up with a Zoom call with me. Same thing. A lot of people will self-eliminate by that time and just not attend that Zoom call. I spend about 30 minutes with them. And then after that, I interview them in person, and they'll self-eliminate themselves. After the in-person, they meet with the team. They don't meet with me, they meet with the team. Then they would meet with me again if they get to that point. And then after that, I would present to them, it would be another meeting where I would present the hiring docs to them and the expectations. And through that process, the questions they ask is key. One gentleman that we hired this last year, his name is Will, and we love him, and our team would not be complete without him. The very first question he asked me in person was, how soon can I get on the phone?
That's a good first question.
It stood out above all the rest.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The other is I attended Christy Buck's 7-figure ride-along within about the first 6 months of coaching. My coach said, go to there, and I did it. I was very obedient. I'm still very obedient, Paul. So I went to Christy Buck's 7-figure ride-along, and I learned about working interviews and probationary periods. So not to have the expectation that you're hired for life. You're hired for a certain time period as we get to know each other. And it just sets up the dialogue in the beginning, and the working interview would be, can they do this? Can they do that? Whatever you're hiring them for, if you're hiring them for an admin or if you're hiring them as a salesperson. So through that, their drive and their perseverance and their initiative, it's big on initiative, proves itself and comes.
I think we have, what, 10 more minutes? Is that right?
Yes,
Something
and
like
we
that?
got giveaways.
So real quick, because you mentioned it, and it's really important to me. The AMP scorecard, it's a Workman tool that allows us to analyze our business. Actually, somebody's asking, when do you talk about commission? When do you talk about commission and pay structure? Let me talk about this real quick. So the AMP scorecard, we score our businesses. We do it quarterly. It allows us to break down our business into 6 areas, and then we give it a score. Anything that scores less than a 5, we put it into our Agile, which is a really easy way to manage projects in Agile. You mentioned it as being really important to you, and we use it. I mean, it's how you chip away at your business and get out all the ideas that you come back with from conferences with these freebies, and get them into your Agile and your AMP scorecard. You want to talk about that a little bit, how you use it to make your business better?
Oh, same with you. And just for everybody out there, if you don't know what the term AMP scorecard and Agile is, these are systems that are provided to coaching clients within Workman Success. I believe everybody can get them free through the resources, and you'll get a link to that in a little bit where you can access those for free. But if you don't really have someone guiding you and teaching you how to work them, it's really just a spreadsheet. So the AMP scorecard is dynamic. I mean, to be able to assess where the business needs our focus and our attention, and also to look at it and see, are we progressing? And it's an operational scorecard. So it assesses the operation going on behind the scenes in the company. Agile, this project management tool, I had a divorce tab in my Agile. I still have a divorce tab in my Agile because I'm still cleaning up stuff from that separation of everything. But the Agile just makes it to where, think about, especially team leaders, we have all of these thoughts in our head, and there's all this noise in our head, and we all like shiny objects. You got everything, all these Post-it notes, all these paper, and it's just all floating around here. And the Agile is where we can dump all of that so we can sleep at night. But we dump it and we organize it. What are we going to focus on now? And even though we delegate it, delegating's huge. Even though we delegate it, we had to just get it off the ground. And so Agile, yes, we use Agile through everything from our events to our workflows to our divorce to everything. Even a family vacation, I've used Agile, and I have actually planned. So I have an Agile because I direct camps, and I use Agile for camp directing.
Yeah, my wife's an IT project manager, so she's got all these certifications, different project management certifications. And the nice thing about Agile is we're real estate agents. We're not project managers, right? So Agile is a really simple but powerful tool. If you use it, you get everything out of your out of your notebooks that you get at these conferences, and like Tammie said, out of your sticky pads. And it's just something we do, an operational huddle every Wednesday. So we're going over our Agile, and it's just chipping away, right? First, you organize it to what the most important couple projects are, and you spend a week and you chip away at those. Then we meet next Wednesday and we go, okay, we're going to chip away at that, and then we're going to chip away at that. And then after like 3 months, like the whole business has evolved because we keep on tracking and chipping away, right?
Yes. Okay, I want to get into our freebies and our giveaways because Ron and I are offering a lot, especially Ron. So Ron is the author of it. Tell everybody about the book that you just released.
So this book just came out a couple months ago, Profitability and Performance Pit Stops. I wrote it. Verl actually participated quite a bit in the book as well. I interviewed most of the coaches, the master coaches. It is truly a guide of how to set up your business. We break it down into 3 sections. We use a racing metaphor. It's kind of like, you think of yourself as a race car driver and preparing yourself to win the race. And I talk about your business like a fine-tuned race car, and then your race team as you're building your team. It's good for whether you're an individual agent and want to get your head on straight and get the right habits that top producing agents are using to become really good business people. And then the middle of the book's all about running your business, mostly Workman systems and tools that we've talked about. And then once you got your business running really well and you got a great platform to build a team of it, that's where the back end of the book comes in. So it's a big book, and I guarantee you'll love it.
Okay, so Ron is going to give away 5 of those books, and Carol Pyfrom, would you like a free book? I'm just going to call your name out here because she wrote. Where can we get that? So, what do you think, Ron? You going to give Carol a free book?
Yeah, definitely. Tracy as well. We'll give her a free book.
Tracy getting a book. Oh, look, everybody's are getting busy now.
It's on Amazon. It's
Yeah.
and the other funny thing too about like how we've set our teams up. This book took me 1,600 hours last year, and I still
Beth Ham
still killed it.
It took you
1,600 hours to write this. Also have a baby. Also go through COVID. And then,
do you know how much money I would have made prospecting in 1,600 hours?
Like $4 billion.
That's amazing. Talk about discipline.
But now I'm just saying, like, you can actually do other things other than spend all day from the morning till night, like I did back in the day when I had my team and I couldn't afford the right people, didn't know who the right people were, had this monster team that everybody thought like, wow, he's the top person in the city for year after year after year. But I was the top big mess, really. A lot of these big teams are a big mess.
It's true. Okay, David Shepard says, pick me. David Shepard, you get a book. I think we got one more. You want to pick one more?
No, it's your choice.
My choice. I'm going to say the name wrong, and I apologize for it. I have a Texas accent, so just remember that when I say your name. Rajesh Shah. Tell me if I said it right. Go back to the chat bar and tell me if I said it right, and I probably didn't. I'm going to call you Raj. Almost. I'm getting better. You're welcome, Beth. Okay, Raj is my new friend. Raj, I just changed your name. You're now Raj to me. Raj is great. Thank you. Good. Raj and I, let's connect on Facebook. Okay, so that's one giveaway. So we gave away 5 books. The next giveaway, and this has never been done before, so everybody on this, just kind of like do this at the moment because, whoa. Ron and I, because we both love coaching so much and we feel so passionately about the power of this company and the culture and the people that run this company and all the joy and the blessings that they give us. And they have blessed both of our lives in different ways, but it's come down to both Ron and I now have the resources to have the freedom to live our lives the way we choose.
Yep.
He has the freedom to be with his son, and I have freedom in life. And I can spend my time with my grandson or with anybody else, but that's what the gift of Workman Success has done for us, is to give us that freedom and the resources to have the freedom. And so what we're offering is at the end of this, and Mario wants that too. And Mario, we want you to have that too. Your life will never be the same again. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a survey. Stay on the webinar. When the webinar ends, there's going to be a survey. And in that survey, it's going to ask for your name and your phone number because it's a coaching consult. But what's going to happen is someone in the back end is going to call you, and Ron and I are offering to answer your questions. So we would set up. So here's a link for workmansuccess.com resources if you want any of the resources that we talked about. but Ron and I are offering to set up a phone call with you and be very transparent and ask or answer your questions. So if you would like to speak to Ron or I outside of this format where we can actually see each other's face-to-face on a Zoom, we're offering to do that. And that's how much we feel. And I've already told you how much my prospecting hour is worth. So I don't know how much Ron's prospecting hour is worth, but that's value in that time to get on a webinar or a Zoom, not a webinar, but on a Zoom call with us, where we can answer your questions or any concerns that you may have about coaching. We're happy to do that.
And Tammie, let me say, we don't make money for this. We just truly believe in the impact. Before I was coached, I used to make fun of my friends that had coaches until I saw the kind of money they were making and the way that their business were set up. It's made a huge impact in my life. And, I went from making fun of it to really embracing it, and the accountability of coaching, which is the big part of, when you're ready to actually, I showed the world that I was like the number one in my market for many years. And what I really need to do was show my family that, I'm not number one in our market, but I guarantee I make more money than the number one person does, for sure.
Your net's definitely higher.
Yeah, that's what coaching does for you. And that's what you want to show off to your family and your kids that you're actually making money when you grow a team. So make up the systems and processes, and good luck. But get somebody to show you the way that's crowdsourced and, from millionaire real estate agents, how to do it the right way, like you did, Tammie, out of the gate, and me after I got fixed up. That's really the way you want to go. And it ends up being a moneymaker. Coaching, you think of it as an expense, but then, like I know Workman analyzes it. It's like a 4-time, 5-time return, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have the security and the peace of mind without everybody involved. And this is why I still coach to this day. So questions on recording. Yes, it's going to be recorded, and I think you're going to get emailed a link. Dakota will probably jump in the chat bar and answer how that recording is going to get out to everybody. It's also going to be on YouTube. But when you end this, watch for the survey. Put your information in there if you would like to find out more about coaching and have a conversation with either Ron or myself. For those of you that are watching the recording or may lose the survey, write the following link down that I'm about to give you. workmansuccess.com/Tammie Slay. When you go to that, put your information in, and in the keyword, in the box for keyword, put coaching consult, and you can put Ron or Tammie on there. Someone will call you and connect us for that. But that is workmansuccess.com/Tammie Slay. Dakota, can you put that in the chat bar? And then just in the keyword, write in there coaching consult, Ron or Tammie. And they'll know how to get us in contact with each other. We got a couple of minutes if we want to answer any questions. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask us?
There was a question. Somebody had asked about when do you talk about commission splits and that kind of thing. So
do you want to answer that?
Yeah, for me, it's late in the process, right? And my value proposition, I'll give it to you really quick. So, the average agent does 10 deals a year, right? So like if you joined our team, we would take you from that 10 to 15 to 25, just for all the things we've done, the coaching, the structure, the support, the training, everything that we've done will get you that, 15 to 25 transactions. On top of that, the leads that we provide you, we teach you how to categorize them A, B, C leads so that you manage them and make all of the money in the B and C leads that most people forget. Teach you how to use the CRM and manage those leads. That gets you another 15 to 25. So I will get you, if you follow everything I show you how to do, from 30 to 50 transactions a year. And of course, now our split, like let's say it's on average 50-50. Do you want to make 50% of 50 deals, or do you want to make 80% of 10 deals? Do the math take your time with that math. It doesn't take long to figure out. Like I can give you a sustainable platform to run your business. So, you get them to understand like the value, right? Like you want to do it yourself and make 80%. And then here, let's talk in a year. And, okay, well, you did 7 deals last year.
Yeah.
And you did everything. You did all the admin, you did everything. But let me plug you into this thing I've built over the last, 15 years, where your job is also, you got people helping you on the front end, people on the back end, people during the transaction. We'll generate the leads. We'll show you how to connect with, your top 50 in your sphere of influence, and you'll have a lot of fun doing it. And you'll get you'll get where you're going a lot faster. So, you can make it to where the commission split is irrelevant, right? Because you can show people that you can make, when we bring our agents on, our plan is to get them to make $120,000 that first year. They follow everything that we teach them how to do.
It's amazing. You heard it right here, folks, from Ron on how he does it. So Roy says, hey, my Houston buddy, how do you keep these people on your team after they've mastered what you teach them?
Well, there's a lot of ways, because you continually build value. You hired them where they're in good alignment. They get so if you take care of all the admin, you take care of lead generation, you take care of CRM, and you can show them. I mean, you create a platform that it's really hard for them to replicate. Now there's again, maybe 1 in 100 that can do what took you 15 years to build and do something and try and start a team. But generally, if you do a good job and add great value and have good culture, and you're in good alignment and everybody gets along, and you continually enhance that value, you don't see a lot of turnover. I mean, the turnover is happening before you actually hire them, because you don't hire those people, right? Right.
Great point.
The turnover happens before they even, you had 90, or what was it?
900
applicants and hired 3 people. Yeah. So
yeah, that's a great point, Ron. I've not looked at it from that perspective. The turnover happens beforehand. And I'm going to echo Ron on that. People don't leave culture. They leave a team leader, or they leave a broker. They don't leave a good culture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I work for my agents. So I'm service oriented. I'm not it's not, I've got all the volume awards, I've done that. I've stroked my ego. Now it's really if I focus and develop agents into, I love when I get an agent who was a roommate in a basement apartment, and then 5 years later, they have an $800,000 house on the waterfront with a wife and 2 kids, and watch somebody progress into a good citizen that's making good money and paying taxes and developing agents. That's really where what I love doing. And the compound effect of doing that with everybody that we bring on and making sure that they're the right people, of course we're going to be successful, and it's a win-win for everybody.
it is. Okay, I'm going through here to see if we have any questions. Hey, Jeff B. Bach. We got to know him at Coach Training.
Because somebody asked about, Carol asked about, because people come and go, do you advertise the team or just you?
This is interesting.
So
you did a shift in this.
You have to continually be recruiting or attracting people, because you're born and then you die. People are going to join you and they're going to leave you. It's at some point people are going to leave you. So you do have to have a system in place. I'm not really following. Do you advertise the team or just you? So both of us don't even have our names in our team, right?
Correct.
I went from the Ron Howard and Associates, the Greatest Moves team, so that I could really put the spotlight on our team members, and we spotlight the heck out of them. If somebody leaves our team, it's our bad, or they weren't the right fit. But we have a bullpen of people that we're talking to and continually trying to bring in better agents continually.
So Carol, I think I know what you're asking. So I'm going to answer what I think you're asking. If I don't answer it right, you can just tell me I was wrong. So do you show them on ads? And Ron and I are very similar in this, is we show our team on ads. Absolutely. If you're asking in a just listed postcard that goes out, if a just listed postcard goes out and it only has the team agent photo, the team agent's cell number, and the team agent's email address, that's paid for by the team agent. That's how we do it. If it has the team phone number, the team email address, and the team marketing on it, then it's paid for by the team. So I think that's what you're asking. There is a different way of marketing it if you're marketing a person or you're marketing the team. Is that kind of what you're reading between there?
People coming down here.
Ron?
Yeah. So, we advertise and we generate team leads. We use, like, if you go onto the Greatest Moves team, you'll see that there's a lot of spotlighting of the agents, and everything we do drives traffic back into our CRM. So every post has a sticky link for more information. And so we're driving traffic into our CRM and generating leads that way. Very little. I mean, we share the agents' phone numbers and things like that, but we don't have a lot of turnover. We've built something pretty special. We're really careful who we bring in. I mean, we're not like over the top crazy about it, but I mean, it's a really special, culture. Same thing that you've done. So
yeah. Okay, so Jill asked, if an agent is choosing to market only themselves, does that indicate they are not a good team fit? I'm going to answer this with, do you remember me talking about the agent Will that I hired? So I had 900 people apply. Not most, a majority of the first questions people asked when they sat down was, can I get my own signs with my own photo on them? Like, that was a very important question for that person. Will's most important question was, when can I get on the phone? It's very different. And it indicates what's most important to that person that I'm interviewing. So if someone's most valuable question isn't how to take home money and bacon to their family, but they're asking, can I put my own photo on signs? If that's the first question, then yes, to me, it's an indicator of not a good fit.
Yeah, that would be not a good fit. But, with me, I took that whole thing away. I said, look, if you want, like, everybody on our team has, it's now we've downgraded the team name to the third most important thing in the sign, and everybody can have their name on the sign. We don't do pictures on our signs. That person that wants a picture on the sign probably wouldn't work in our team anyway. But if you want your name on the sign all day long, like, we want to spotlight our agents. So we don't want your name to get lost behind my name. We want your name to stand out. My name's been around for 15 years and, like, it's all over the place. I love building up our agents' names, and we can do it through writers or through actually putting their name on the, Tammie Slay, the Greatest Moves team, very small, right next to the Remax logo.
I like the way that sounds.
Expansion, Texas.
Never know.
Yeah.
I like it. I'd work on your team any day.
Likewise.
Okay. If calls come in, do you hand out, we got 2 minutes left. Calls come in, do you hand out leads at a different split than if they have their own clients? And that's a very, that's not a yes or a no answer, because there's a lot of variables in that. So Carol, when you fill out that information and you meet with Ron or I, ask that question again at that time. So when you fill out the coaching consult and we have that conversation, there's a lot of variables behind making that decision. Would you agree, Ron?
Yeah, everybody does it a little bit different. So, I think generally, we would say that most well-run teams would have an average of a 50-50 split. Some of them might give a little, bonus if it's self-generated, but others say that, they want to be 50-50 or whatever it is, the same thing for either self-gen or team leads. So it really depends on kind of how you're set up.
Good. Wendy, are you guys aiming to be your own brokers versus team lead? I am my own broker. So I own the company. So it's my brokerage, and I'm going to say that because that's all I knew. If I had to go back in time and do it differently, and I were with a brokerage and I started a team, I may have done it that way. But all I knew was owning the company and being the broker. So mine fell into that because that's all I knew.
Yeah, I'm only focused on being a team leader. Our office has 8 locations, and so we're expanding in these other locations. I've been a part of an ownership team in 2 different brokerages, but my next venture, now that I got my team running really well, is expanding into some other locations and doing some really cool stuff that I'm going to be writing my next book about. So
wait to see your next book. All right, we are out of time. Now, remember, pay attention. When this ends, you're going to get a survey that comes up. That's how you will connect with Ron or I, is filling out that survey. If you're watching the recording and the survey doesn't come up, go to workmansuccess.com/Tammie Slay and put in the keywords in that coaching consult, Ron or Tammie. So just call out, if you don't care who you meet with, you can put Ron or Tammie. If there's a specific one that you want to speak with, then you just put that name of that person in there. Thank you all for joining us today. And behind the scenes, the powers that be said they're going to reach out to all of you who won Ron's book. I hope you all have a productive Wednesday. Ron, it's always a pleasure being with you. You're an amazing man and a dynamic father. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I wish that this year gets better for you, even though your business is killing it. I hope personally things you find smoother waters.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Always good chatting with you.
You too. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.